Good morning to you, and welcome back to today's JRPG weekly update. We've got a lot of news to talk about, guys. There was the Nintendo Indie Direct thing, the Video Game Awards, Sony State of Play, and all kinds of stuff was going on this week. And I'm a little at a loss for how to even start talking today. We've got a lot of games got announced. We've got a lot of games getting delayed. We're going to talk about all of those things here in just a minute. But before we do that, I figured let's go ahead and talk about today's top headlines. And I'll go ahead and start with this one here. Leading into the Game Awards, Square Enix updated the already somewhat controversial cover art that we talked about a few weeks ago, maybe a couple months ago, which doesn't really, to a lot of people's perception, doesn't properly signify that it's just the first chapter, the first episode of a multi-episodic game or release, which, fair enough. So the cover was updated though, and it adds some more clarifying information to the cover, but not the title. It doesn't say that it's part 1 or anything. In this time though, the clarification, I guess, is that the game is just a timed exclusive until March of 2021, meaning that the game's likely going to come out on PC or Xbox One here after that first year of exclusivity expires. It doesn't really bother me. I'm guessing that's probably going to miff some Sony fanboys, but guys, come on, seriously. The more platforms RPGs are available on, the better it is for everybody. Timed exclusives don't help you, they just hurt everybody else. Also, final bit of Final Fantasy VII Remake news. At the Game Awards, Square Enix revealed a new trailer for that game, focusing on the game's protagonist, Tifa Lockhart. Just kidding, it was Cloud Strife. Now, I unfortunately didn't get to watch the Video Game Awards, fortunately or unfortunately, so I'm kind of at a loss. I still haven't actually sat down and watched it yet. So I'm going to try something kind of new and interesting, because I know what happened last year at the Video Game Awards. They gave RPG of the Year to Monster Hunter World, which a lot of you probably remember. I didn't really think of it as an RPG, and that's not an insult to Monster Hunter World. Of course, it's a fantastic game, but really? Why not give it to, I don't know, Super Mario Odyssey or something if you're going to just give it away to any old game? I haven't really caught up yet, and I wanted to get caught up right now. I'm going to find out what won RPG of the Year this year at the Video Game Awards, and we'll see what happens. Because at this point, I really have no idea what to expect. Here, let me hit enter in the Googles. Best RPG went to it went to Disco Elysium. Really? All right. You know what? They figured out what an RPG is. Holy crap, guys. And there were some other runners-up, I guess. Final Fantasy XIV, Kingdom Hearts 3, Monster Hunter World Iceborne, and then Outer Worlds. Okay, so it looks like they've learned from last year that RPG of the Year should probably go to an RPG, and I'm glad to hear that. I'm done being snarky there, but that was my actual first finding out that Disco Elysium got RPG of the Year. That is so awesome. Bringing it back to CRPGs, keeping it old school. I dig it. And Disco Elysium is one of those games that it has been on my mind for a while, and I'm that's really exciting. So with the official release of the Kingdom Hearts 3 Remind trailer that finally officially came out at Sony State of Play, we got some extra details about the game's DLC, including the price point of $30 for the DLC, or there's also like a $40 option if you want like the soundtrack and some other stuff bundled in. I'm not really entirely sure if that's worth it. This sounds pretty steep to a lot of people, and understandably so, as just a pure gut reaction, but I also want to keep in mind that we've probably paid very similar prices for other larger expansions before, namely Xenoblade Chronicles 2 Torna the Golden Country, which in and of itself kind of became its own game and actually got its own physical release. So I kind of wonder if this is sort of going to be something on that scale, and if it isn't, then yeah, it's probably not going to be worth the money that they're asking for. $30. That's you could buy other whole games for that. You could buy 2 copies of Shadows of Adam for that, which, by the way, I reviewed that last week. You should definitely check that out. Now, hopefully, this hints at the update being quite expansive, but for now, my hot take is let's wait and see how this pans out. But we did get some other big new game announcements, guys, that we really ought to talk about. Bravely Default 2 was announced for 2020 at the Game Awards, and this is coming to Nintendo Switch. Obviously, this is a Nintendo franchise. It's been on the 3DS. Bravely Second was also on the 3DS. And speaking of Bravely Second, this is a little weird that they're naming the third game Bravely Default 2. I know I'm not the first person to mention that, but I really don't know what to make of the titles here, because I mean, Bravely Second was definitely a direct sequel to the first, and it looks like Bravely 2, Bravely Default 2 is also going to be a direct sequel. So where does it go? Is Bravely Second the direct sequel? And then, because I know that Bravely Second takes place a couple years later, maybe it's needlessly complicated. But what I really hope to get out of all of this is, since I never really got to play the games on 3DS because I have no way of capturing gameplay footage for these, hopefully what this is going to lead into maybe would be really sweet if we could get some HD ports of the 3DS games, the Bravely Default and Bravely Second, over onto Switch. I would be so happy if we could do this, please. Maybe a nice little dual pack would be really sweet. Also, we got some new information finally after 2 years. 2 years ago at E3, they announced Babylon's Fall. At Sony's State of Play, they showed the first real trailer, not just the teaser. They showed the gameplay trailer, and it looks pretty awesome, really. So this is a action RPG by Square Enix and Platinum Games, similar, in fact, to Nier and Nier Automata, which are kind of a similar sort of scenario setup with Platinum and Square Enix working together. The game features a very interesting kind of like paintbrush aesthetic, like everything's kind of painted on there, and I think that looks pretty cool. And the game is expected to launch on PS4 and PC. However, a release date has not yet been announced. During Nintendo's Indie Showcase, we also got a few indie games announced that I think look pretty interesting, one of which is Golf Story, which is a sequel. The sequel to Golf Story. It's called Sports Story, and looks like that's going to be launching in the second quarter of 2020. Also, Boyfriend Dungeon is a dungeon crawler and dating sim where you have weapons that transform into pretty boys for you to do boyfriend things with. Kind of similar to Xenoblade Chronicles Torn of the Golden Country and Xenoblade Chronicles 2, I think. Anyways, expect to see that coming in 2020. Dungeons & Dragons Dark Alliance was announced for PC and consoles, and that's something that you should expect to see in fall of 2020. The trailer for it, though, in my personal opinion, was really bad. I think that the game could be fun still, but the trailer had this sort of follow cam thing going on that made me a little bit nauseous, and then the music that accompanied the trailer was also pretty nauseating as well, if I may just be a little bit mean about that. I don't think it went. Like when I think D&D, that's definitely not the sort of music that I think of going with that, but you know, whatever. It's just a trailer. We'll see how the game actually is when we see more about it. Also, a port is coming up that I know a lot of you will be really excited for, guys. Ys Memories of Celceta, originally launched for the PlayStation Vita and also is available on PC, has been announced as coming to the PlayStation 4. Now, this new version will have a dual audio option, and here's something pretty sweet, is that the PC version is also getting that dual audio feature via a free DLC update. So if you've already got Memories of Celceta and want to play it again in Japanese this time, well, you have a chance coming up. The game will cost $30 for the digital copy and $40 for the physical copy that we are getting. And I think Europe is also getting some release updates later on, but that has not yet been confirmed for the UK and Europe. So this port is going to be dropping in spring of 2020. We also got some release date and localization updates. First, Trails of Cold Steel 3 that was announced for Switch not too long ago finally got a release date update. The port is being released on March 19th in Japan. We don't know what's going to happen in the States in the West. If the localization is already done, then it probably won't be too far behind March. I mean, if they're already ready to release it in Japan, I mean, maybe just copy paste the localization. That probably doesn't work like that, but hey, maybe it does. Also, Square Enix have via their Twitter account announced recently that the Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles HD remaster is being delayed into summer of 2020, and that's okay with me. I know a lot of you guys really like that. This game never really appealed to me, but I will continue to provide updates because I know a lot of you guys really love that game, and maybe eventually when I play it again, maybe I will love it too. Trials of Mana received an update at the Video Game Awards, and there are more planned to come over the coming months. Trials of Mana is expected to launch in the West on April 24th of 2020. Marvelous and Edelweiss have announced Sakuna of Rice and Ruin, which is an action-adventure RPG farming sim. It has also been delayed into 2020, unfortunately. In community news, fans of The Legend of Dragoon have started a petition on legendofdragoon.org to have Legend of Dragoon remade for the PlayStation 5. And they have already gathered nearly 14,000 signatures of their 15,000 signature goal. And I suspect that today, with this video, we might be able to push them over the edge of that 15,000 signature mark. So today, and today only, I would like to request that if you guys are a fan of Legend of Dragoon, do not like this video. Do not smash that subscribe button. Instead, please click the link in the comments or in the video description. It'll take you to legendofdragoon.org and their petition, and just sign that petition. Put your name down next to that, because this game is definitely worth a remake, and I hope you guys are on board. And if you aren't already a fan of Legend of Dragoon, go ahead and click on here. Yeah, click there. That card will take you to my review of Legend of Dragoon, and that will explain to you exactly why this is the perfect time to be hoping for a Legend of Dragoon remake. In SuperDerek news last week, I released my review of Shadows of Adam, and I'm really happy with the way that came out. And you guys seem to really enjoy that too. The game is really cheap. It's just $15, and I highly recommend it. Spoilers for the review, I guess. If you haven't seen the review, definitely go click that link. And because again, if you like that 16-bit aesthetic, this is something that you definitely will want to check out, because it's just a solid experience, and it's also a lot of fun. And you know, support your indie developers, guys. And then for this week's forecast, we have one RPG coming out this week, and that is Regions of Ruin. This is a game by Vox Games, and it is coming to the PlayStation 4. I believe it's already on PC and Nintendo Switch, though, based on what I'm seeing here. Otherwise, that's it. It's a pretty light week, and I'm guessing that's because it's probably too late to really be launching for holiday 2020 or holiday 2019. Anyways, guys, so that leaves us with today's question of the week. And my question for you guys is, what is your game of the year this year? Your RPG of the year, if you will. Honestly, looking back through all the games that I reviewed this year, there's only one that I reviewed that actually came out this year, because Shadows of Adam was actually a port of a PC game that came out in like 2017. So I guess my game of the year kind of has to be Kingdom Hearts 3. But I think of all the games that I reviewed this year, that's a lot more difficult of a question. I think that it would probably have to come down between Fallout New Vegas and Star Ocean: The Second Story, and both of them are so completely different and amazing. Star Ocean, I gotta give it a Star Ocean. That hurts. It was such a fun game. I highly recommend you guys check that out if you haven't already. I would really appreciate it if you could check out all the reviews that I put out this year. But what was your game of the year? Either the game of the year that came out this year, or just the game that you happened to play this year. What was your favorite game of the year? And I'd like to hear your experience down in the comments down below. And I think that's where we're going to have to end things for today. But if you liked getting your JRPG news, again, do not hit that subscribe button. Don't hit that like button. Instead, go sign that Legend of Dragoon, petition. Sign that petition, and I will see you guys next time. Have a good day, everyone.